Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Bead Maker Coffee, September 11th edition for 2023. So, in honor of my friends in the military, I brought out my old Sergeant Major's cup. So, that's about as much as I'm going to talk about that. But welcome to Bead Maker and Coffee, Sid and Tony, special guest at the training center.
Good morning.
Lots going on. Been a busy couple of weeks, and it's about to get a lot busier. So, good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning, Tony.
Bright and early.
Yes, you are bright and early.
Not bright. I'm bright, but it is dark outside.
Yes, it is. The sun is up here, but for some reason it's dark in my house still. But you are at Hayward. You're in the training center, and I think it was at our 2 bead makers and coffees ago. I did it from there.
Yes.
It is early. It's early when you have to get up and head in.
Yes, these lights are great for seeing scratches in paint, but they don't do as much for my complexion, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not that much.
It is all about your complexion.
Not that much good.
So funny. Well, good to see you. Good to see that you're back at training. You had a month off.
Yep.
Shouldn't really say a month off because you did go to Monterey, but you had a month off of training.
Yes. We're back. The training studio was thankfully not destroyed when I came in. Bob did a really good job of putting it back together.
Nice.
I know he and Keith, tore it apart and stole all my goodies. There's some fresh bottles of goodies in there, which I was surprised about. And yeah, all kinds of good stuff. So we're ready to rock and roll for training for the next 3 days.
Nice. Some of that might have been me. I sort of remember rifling through one of those cabinets looking for something. So some of it might have been me.
Yeah, we had decals to put on and windows to clean, and nothing was stopping us, including your doors and organization.
Yeah, I think the dressed and undressed, if you're missing those, that was me.
Oh, I'll double check those today. I did specifically check, a certain secret product that we've all been loving and adoring. And so I don't know who stole that, if it was you or Josh Pierce.
It was not me.
I
think it was Josh because you told him to do it.
Okay, good. I was hoping he did. So it was gone, but it looks like it's already been replaced. So I'm good.
Nice. Cool. Good deal. Well, so this episode snuck up on me. It's been an absolutely insane last 2 weeks. I don't even remember the week before, but last week I still have, I'm still exhaused from. Exhausted from.
I hear
you. We'll have trauma from a specific car, I'm willing to bet.
Yeah. Well, it was trauma from a couple days, actually. So last week I started off with a Sprinter van that I wasn't totally expecting. And so I had to work outside, and not to like whine and cry about that, because I know there's a lot of guys that work outside, and more power to you, but normally I work inside. And so when you suddenly have to move all your stuff outside and be in the sun, it takes a little toll on you when you're not like, physically fit and prepared for it. So that, and it was a Sprinter van. So, and then the next day I had a 96 Camaro SS that had been stored in a barn for the last 15 years.
Oof.
And it was like a special edition. And anyway, there's this whole story behind it that I'll tell someday, but it had been in a barn for 15 years and it had sap and stuff all over it. The paint was absolutely hammered. And that thing kicked my butt. I did a 3-step correction on it, and I don't normally do that. You guys know that. I went through about 44 pads, and I worked until 1 a.m. in the morning, and then had to get up at 7 o'clock the next morning and finish coating it. And then I had another F-150 that was 5 years old, the flat gray, that had to be corrected and coated. And so that one I didn't get started on until about 1 p.m. on Thursday. And it had to be done by like 9 p.m. on Thursday night. And then my son had a football game. And then I don't even know. The rest of the week just, So basically I was working like, I don't even know, 15 more days all week last week.
Yeah.
So when the weekend got here, I really needed it.
Yeah, it was an interesting last couple of weeks for me as well. Listening to you tell the story, I'm remembering like one car I had when I know I had 8 or 9 that I worked on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couple of bad ones. Yeah, it has been a blur. I think, we're still recovering
Mm-hmm.
from everything, from all the excitement from Monterey Week, or at least
Yeah.
because I know I came home from Monterey Week and then Bonnie immediately left for work,
Oh.
go like long distance.
Uh-huh.
So then I was in like detailing and like solo dad mode, which is
Right.
always fun. Um, yeah, and so it's just drama all over in my shop, from being unorganized and messy to trying to clean that up and getting reset
Yeah.
me for my personal shop to getting vehicles in and out. And I had a boat, and then
Yeah.
we had Labor Day weekend. That was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we went to Lake Havasu for that. I polished a boat just before Labor Day weekend, but then wasn't in that boat, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I owe some friends a boat detail because they took us out.
Yeah. That's
The
always.
bonus is you didn't have to clean up after you went in it, so you got that going for you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Well, very good. Very good. So, speaking of our last couple weeks, let's talk about what is a product that stood out to us.
Ooh, there's
So,
so many.
I've got one. Do you want to go first?
Well, I'm gonna kind of wing it. It's a little off brand. But my product
Oh no.
actually that saved me a lot this week is not really a product so much as a tool. I'm just gonna go for it.
Mhm.
I have been using, so I recently somewhat restored and got working I don't even know, a 65-year-old 100-gallon air compressor that the
Wow.
previous owner to my shop left behind. And so I changed the oil on it, all this stuff. Anyway, it's a beast. It's 220. It puts out a ton of air. So thanks to that, the blowout tools, the tornadors and things like that that we have, it
Mhm.
runs it like astonishingly well. And something I had bought a long time ago, but never really made work or took the time. I didn't have the capacity, I think, to really use it to its full extent. Is the
Mhm.
Tornador vacuum attachment. So you put the vacuum in the top and then put the air in the bottom, and it blows out everything, and then also vacuums it all at the same time.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, I did see your video on that. Yeah.
Yes, that is like life changing.
Pretty
I
cool.
mean, of course, you need like a who knows how many $1,000 compressor and a very strong vacuum to run it all. But that has absolutely just made my world a whole different place. So that's it for my tool for this week.
I did see your video on that, and I've seen those before, but that when you did that, where you started off in the video vacuuming with it, and I
Yeah,
was like, okay, but then you shut that part off
yeah,
and tried to vacuum without it. That was crazy.
yeah. So like I'm going over it in my video where I don't pull the air trigger,
Yeah.
and it just it doesn't do anything
Uh-huh.
almost, but it still is a strong vacuum coming through there. But then like the dog hair, and that's untreated. I don't even know that I used paint gloss on the carpet like I should have in that video,
Mhm.
which that definitely still helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know, but picking a product that actually beyond that, maybe something in the PNS realm.
Mhm.
I think this week is going to just be some good old Express interior cleaner. I mean, I know it's one
Yeah.
of Keith's favorites. I had some pretty nasty cars this week, and I've been using it full strength recently instead of diluting it 1-to-1.
Mhm.
And it's just a rock star. And if you get it even full strength, I mean, it's maybe a little less common full strength, but even full strength on the right cars and the right conditions, you don't
Mhm.
even really need to come back and rinse
Yeah.
it off. I
Yeah.
still tend to, or I even used it yesterday, and instead of firing up the steamer,
Mhm.
it was a bit of an emergency detail I got a call for, so I only did a small section of a car. I just used a rag with warm Absolute
Uh-huh.
and basically rinsed it
Yeah.
clean, and then dried it, and it was great. So
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, mine is, well, first I'm going to talk about Express since you did too. So absolutely, because the week before I did the 90s, well, like 2 days before I did the 96 Camaro, I had a 1970 Corvette
oh,
that was red and the interior was beige. And it was really funny because they brought it in and they said, the interior, we just had it like redyed in some areas and stuff. And the carpet was really dirty. They were like, yeah, we're probably going to order new carpet. And I looked inside and I thought, well, how did they re-dye it if it was never cleaned? Like there was handprints all over everything. The seats were really dirty. And so I thought to myself, like, this is really weird. And, they were like, if you can get it clean, great, but don't worry if you can't, we've already had it. And like, when I say they had it re-dyed, I mean like a couple weeks ago, not like years ago.
Oh, wow.
And so I got in there to start cleaning it. And I mean, they were ready to buy all new parts, right? And I got in there to start cleaning it, and same, I thought, well, I'm just going to try Express at 1-to-1. I'm going to use a brush. I'm going to be real careful. And literally, like, I took Express on the dashboard with a brush and on the seats, and everything just like wiped right up. And I do remember thinking to myself, like, I thought this was going to be hard, and like the seats all of a sudden looked like they were brand new. Like everything turned out so good. And then the carpets, I did the 3-part system. It came out perfect.
Huh.
Perfect. And then I just thought, well, that's so weird. So I'm gonna have to talk to some of my leather dyeing companies and say, would it be customary to clean before? But anyway, I digress. Anyway, so yes. So I used Express or full strength on that, and it worked great, looked brand new. So my product, and Keith will love this one, and he knows the number, I don't, it's our wool pad.
P2704.
Yeah, yes.
Or P2703, depending on whether you're using the 6-inch or the 5-inch. Yeah.
5-inch. That thing, because I don't normally do multi-step corrections, I don't get to use it too often.
Yeah.
And I used about 10 of them this week.
Nice.
So again, it's one of those things where, it kind of just lends to that. Even if you don't use something all that often, you're so thankful for it when you're in a pinch and you need it. Like I was so happy that I had enough of them at my disposal, that I had them to do the job. They did a great job. They made my life so much easier. So while they only come out a couple times a year, man, those pads are amazing. Absolutely amazing. So
I found myself using those a lot, actually. I used them on the boat that I did. They were
they're great on boats. Yeah. Absolutely great on boats.
They're super versatile. I mean, for the most part, you can get away with them almost down to finishing on a lot of paint surfaces.
Yep.
So, they're fantastic pads.
Yeah. Love it.
I got to tell you, my favorite product last 2 weeks was Bead Maker. It is just still amazes me.
An old standby.
How good that product just is. It's just good. I mean, it really is. I showed it to somebody who was using it as, was used to using a spray sealant product. Mm-hmm. And I said, when you're in a wash bay, if you're not taking that car over to do anything more to it, you can use Bead Maker as your drying aid and sealant right here.
Yep.
And it just changed the world. Probably saved them 25 minutes a car on their details.
Yeah. Yep.
And they were just blown away. And so it was such a neat product to, again, just see it work like it's always worked and do what it's always done. I mean, there's nothing new about that to probably most of our audience, but it's for people who find it as a new product to them, it's still cool to just see the great results. So,
Yep.
Tony, you're not in the basement. What's up?
I was going to address that. I could probably make that happen sometime. It's just I would have to set the camera up right and then see what was in view and then, maybe push some stuff.
I took Jamie the cleaner down to the basement one time when he was at PNS, but there was no lights. And so we tried to do a TikTok down there and it just didn't work out because there was no lights.
Yeah. I think, what I'll do is, since I'm up here once a month, I'll do a monthly what's in the basement kind of like little thing. Yeah, and I'll pull something random out of there. Fun.
Yeah.
And we'll see if it's Keith's like, Keith's like, you better approve that first.
I'm just because, I'm a little more in the know on what goes on in the factory maybe than you have been lately, Tony.
I didn't say I would post it.
Patrick, our new production operations gentleman, they've been cleaning the house, baby.
Oh yeah.
What's left in the basement? They have no. Just when you go to the basement, you see if there's anything down there, because all the old junk they have been cleaning out the joint. So
I have noticed the increased organization. There's a lot of tape on the floor out where things go now. It actually looks really nice in here.
Yeah. So, we are rapidly catching up on inventory and orders and production, and that's in large part due to some refocus there, and there may not be as much old stuff in the basement, so we probably all need to make a special trip to P&S before SEMA to get the good stuff before it goes away.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Well, should we get started on questions? It looks like we've got a lot coming in. So
You should. I will see you guys on the next specialty moment.
yeah, perfect. And I don't know if you guys saw, I can't remember if we already went through it, but Delaney and Lucy were checking in from Boise High School. So that's pretty funny.
Oh, no way.
That's nice that they were watching. So cute. So that's Delaney.
There you go.
So cute. I'm sure she had to tune in because it was you, Tony. I'm sure it was not me.
Maybe.
You're her favorite person. Hopefully you're a little.
She doesn't treat me like that when I'm there. She's like,
she does though. What did she say, you guys? What was it? You were in a weird place.
We were in a rough patch.
Oh, we're having a rough patch. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That must be over. So lots of good mornings. I'm trying to keep up with these in the my phone is slow over here on the
Bead
side.
Maker Lounge. Oh,
Yeah. So the ones that aren't registered. So G Davis says Tony is his favorite detailing personality.
thanks, G.
That's a big compliment.
I know. From the man himself.
So nice. So nice. So this is from Hans. Did you do something with your hair? No, actually, I just didn't do it. I saw this come through. So just washed and blow dried. So nope, didn't do anything with it. Superado 2K says, sounds like a hectic last few weeks for Sydney and Tony for sure. Hope you both had a nice relaxing weekend this weekend while making the new crystal wash video. Yeah. Yep. So on my Facebook, I did spoiler alert, still not made.
No video.
Some inside information. I may have some guys here today that might be able to help me make that video, but so it was kind of on our list of we should try to get this done when we're there on Monday. But I just pulled the car in and I forgot that it was coated in Legend.
Oh.
And I coated it a year ago. And I'm not going to lie, it looks like I just coated it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we could make the video, but I'm not even sure anything will crystallize. I mean,
right.
That was my goal for today. But looking at the car, I just don't think it's going to be a good.
It's gotten to the point now where we almost need to have a planning meeting. Like me and Dave need to get on a call and get all the data that we want to include in the video.
Right. Yeah.
And then formulate it from there and just see who can make it work.
Well, and to be honest, I know what everybody wants. They want to see how to use it and stuff. But I mean, just for reference for everybody, it would be like using, I don't know, maybe even water spot removal. You're going to spray it on, but even the best of the cameras are not really going to pick up the crystals. You can see them with your eye, but they're hard to see on camera.
Yep.
And I don't know that you'll see the results either. I mean, it's kind of like the hidden, right? It's like iron removal. Sometimes that iron you can't pick it up on camera. With Buster, we see the chemical reaction.
You only see the purple.
Yeah. And so then you know that it did something. But even if you take the before B-roll and the after B-roll, they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
So now imagine putting a clear active product in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So it's how do you make the video riveting?
Well, and I think it was in my last training that Dave came in and we asked him about it, and he explained that it was literally I don't know that microscopic was the word he used, but something very small on a very small scale. The crystals, as it's drying and crystallizing, they're breaking and pushing apart the contaminants that they've attached to.
Yeah.
So you're not, I mean, what are we going to pull out an electron microscope over here? I mean, it's going to be, we'll figure it out eventually,
we will figure it out. It may have to be a video that we do at PNS with Dave, because
that would be cool.
There's a lot to, I think that more of that video comes in the voice part, right?
Right. That's what I mean by the data, right? Him and his info. Yeah.
But it's an amazing, I mean, it's fantastic, but it's just, how do we put that in a video?
Yep. Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's the same exact thing as when, you know, a car shows up in the morning and you see it with your eye and you see how trashed it is and you take your before pictures,
Yeah.
you do the detail, you take
Right.
your after pictures, and then you go back and look at the two and you're like,
And then you have to tell whoever you're showing, like, it's really worse in real life. You have to
me,
tell-
oh, you're just washing a dirty or clean car.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
So funny. So funny. All right. Mike's Auto Detailing says his favorite product is Clarity Cream.
There
Yes.
you go.
I use a lot of that. I use a lot of Clarity Cream for sure. This one, Express Interior, is my top seller here in the storefront. I somehow always sell out no matter how much I get. I believe that's probably Anthony. Yes, Express. I go through a lot of it too. That's one of them. For me, Express is one that's in the 5s. I get a 5 of that.
Yep. That's one of my few 5s as well.
Yep. And what's up, peeps? Oh, that's Kelly Mencken. So she's
Kelly?
awake. Yay.
It's like 2 a.m. for her.
Actually, she's on vacation somewhere, and it's a little bit later where she's at.
Oh, well, lucky duck.
So good for her. Alex, good morning to my favorite people. Hope you all had a great weekend. I did. You know why? Because I am obsessed with football. Like, I'll just say it. I'm obsessed with football. I probably watched 9 football games this weekend.
Half of them in person and half of them on TV.
Yeah, totally. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Everybody checking in.
Lots of hellos. Lots of hellos.
Good morning, Alex. How are things on the Great White North? Is it already north? Or is it already white up there?
No,
not.
I think that's just.
Hopefully not. Or was that JTC, the upcoming Grand Ambassador 2023, that was doing the crystal wash video? Maybe we should ask Jamie to do it.
Let's just get everybody together.
You know what? We should have a contest. We should have everybody make one and send them in, and we'll pick the best one.
We'll cut pieces out of each one and splice it together.
That would be amazing. We should do that.
I don't know who asked this, but I also asked this question recently.
Oh, this was I actually saw this. This was Hans.
Mm-hmm. I'll just say that you may not have to wait forever.
Yeah,
I talked to someone about it.
Yeah, I've seen them. I think Obsessed Garage has a version of them, but so here's my feeling on the gray FTW. I'm going to be honest about this.
We're getting honest here.
I know we love that, right?
Keeping it real.
I would like a different color. Like, I know that the gray is kind of matches with Defender, but
is it just boring? What's wrong with it?
It's pretty boring.
It's boring. It's just gray.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know.
They can do a more silver.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I like the color of the silver infused towel from the Rag Company. I don't know if you guys have seen those. They were big during COVID time, but it's like a lighter gray.
Yeah.
But I've seen the gray FTW, and I don't know. I think coming off that hot pink one, that's a hard act to follow.
Yeah. I think maybe Hans again just said, how about a green FTW for paint prep? I would love that too.
I asked for that. Yep. And I even had the greatest name for that. Yep.
I don't know that there's a lot of green towels though. Are there? Certain dyes I know are difficult, right? Like they always complain about red being a difficult dye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Steve, I understand the benefits of Defender on paint, but is it safe to use on black trim and piano black? What are the benefits, and are there any downsides? I've been using Carpro Pearl on trim. So this is kind of a double answer. So absolutely it's safe to use on black trim and piano black. I use it all the time. However, it's not going to add any color back.
Yeah, it won't darken it like a dressing will.
So it's totally different than Carpro Pearl.
But I would say if your plastics are still dressed though from a previous wash, you should be able to go right over it. I don't think it'll remove anything.
Yep. Yeah. Or if they have solution finish on them, you can go right back over. That's totally fine.
Yep.
So yes, you can absolutely use it on trim, and I do all the time, but the trim has to be in really good shape or have been previously dressed. But then it's totally fine to use.
Yeah.
There's really nothing that we've found that you can't use Defender on, maybe like carpet. I'm not sure. I mean, not that it's going to hurt it, but it's not probably going to help it either. But,
Right.
and I wouldn't use it on leather, but absolutely on piano black. I mean, I use it on glass. It's great on everything.
Pretty much the only thing it doesn't work on is fresh Defender. Like if you defendered your car yesterday, you're not going to have a good time today.
Yeah. No.
That's the only thing I've seen.
Yeah.
And we just saw that really with those auction cars.
Yeah.
We would go spray in Defender day 2 on a car, and it was like, oh, whoops, this had Defender on it already. Like,
Yep. Well, and I remember I learned that early on because I remember, so TR SEMA, we had used, Bob and the guys were here and we'd used it on my hood, on my Jeep. And then 2 days later, Justin Lobato was here with Buff and Shine, and he hadn't seen Defender yet. So I was like, come look at this. And I sprayed on my hood and I'm like, You're
like, whoops, never mind.
So that wasn't quite, So that's what I was like, okay, so you can't put Defender on brand new Defender.
Yeah.
Good morning, Rag Company.
Good morning.
Is Crystal Wash safe for plastics and glass? Yes, I've sprayed it on. I try to not, I don't heavily hit it, but I've definitely probably gotten overspray. I've never noticed any issues.
Yeah.
Now, glass is always one of those, you can't really make a blanket answer. I have sprayed Crystal Wash and gotten overspray on glass before, and it did leave like the little speckles, but then Clarity Cream wipes it right out. So I wouldn't spray it. It's, because it is a mild acid, right? Yeah. So some glass is going to take that differently. So I wouldn't spray Crystal Wash directly on the glass. If you get it on the glass and it leaves a spot, Clarity Cream 100% takes care of it. There's no risk in damaging the glass, but I wouldn't use it, I wouldn't purposely spray it on the glass.
Sure.
Yeah. Alex, excited for Tony's hot basement vids.
Let's see what I can pull off. Apparently it's cleaned out. Now I'm ready.
Okay, that just sounds wrong. I had to chime in. That just sounds wrong. What are you doing in that basement?
You know what? I'll make sure to invite you when we pull that one off.
Okay, there we go.
Put some lights down there.
Yeah, we'll get a lot of lights for that situation.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't let that one go.
Oh, goodness. All right, Hans, Clarity Cream was my savior last week on the glass roof with very bad water spots.
Quadot
steel wool didn't do anything. Wow, Clarity Cream took it off right after 3 passes. That's awesome.
Nice.
So that is awesome. And I have a new something I've been doing that I'm not sure if supposed to be doing, but I had to do this a couple weeks ago on some side windows, and it actually worked really good. But I took an applicator and put some water spot remover on it and kind of wiped across the window real quick and then Clarity Creamed it. So kind of just adding some water spot removal to the Clarity Cream, and it really helped. Really helped. But yes, those roof ones, holy moly. I know my Jeep is from when I bought it has been covered in water spots, and I've purposely not removed them because I'm waiting until I'm at a event with Keith when we need a vehicle with water spots on it.
There you go.
I've been holding on to it. It's been 2 years now. I should probably just take care of it. But I've done those sunroof ones, and they are hard. It must just be because they are on a flat surface and they just bake in the sun all day.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's, they pool larger. It's a larger focus of heat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, wow. Jamie coming in with, I'm going to need an iPhone 16 to film Crystal Wash. So I'm going to have to wait another year. Is the 15 out yet?
The 15's tomorrow. I'm super excited. It's like my Super Bowl.
There's Samsung users everywhere right now going, we could film it with our camera.
Yeah. Right. Except it'll be over processed and fake.
Right.
Yeah,
Ron says, when using Crystal Wash, do you apply it to a wet or dry surface? I like it on a dry surface.
Dry. Supposed to go in dry and then let it dry.
Yes, you spray it on a dry surface and then you let it dry. So if it's wet, it's not really attaching to the surface. You need it to attach to the surface and start that crystallizing process. That's kind of, there's a whole scientific, I can't even start to repeat it, situation that happens on the surface that kind of, starts to break down the contaminants and do all sorts of stuff. So yeah, you do need it on a dry surface for sure.
Because it's physically pushing them away from the paint.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I have like a super, super dirty car that comes in, I will wash it, dry it, then crystal wash and wash again. But generally speaking, if the cars are not horribly dirty, then I'll just start off. I just soak the whole car in crystal wash.
Yeah.
Yep. First from Puerto Rico, Hans Close, thumbs up. Yep, dry surface. Is the Rag Company FAQ here? I saw the Rag Company. All right, detailing in the basement with Tony. Just the baby ones. Just the baby ones.
His baby margaritas.
How did the margaritas at Monterey compare to the one on the plane in first class?
The one on the plane was much stronger than the Monterey ones. Hence the 5 margarita Monterey situation.
So. Okay. Yeah. And you had a limit of 1 on the plane. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. She's like, that's a double. You can't have any more.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Wasn't I wearing my sunglasses? And she was like, she made me move my sunglasses to look at me before she'd even give it to me.
Yep. So funny.
Wrong.
Yes, the Rams beat the Seahawks yesterday. That was crazy. And how about that Sunday night football game? What a waste, right? Yes, I love the Cowboys. I was rooting for the Cowboys, but I mean, what an embarrassment for the Giants. There's no Giants fans in here, but that was rough.
I just saw the Lions finally won a game and beating the oh my gosh, now I'm blanking. But the Super Bowl champs. So
yes, the Chiefs.
That was interesting. The Chiefs.
Chefs. Yeah.
Yep.
Chefs.
Yeah. I watched that game with Mr. Prentice Sinclair yesterday at his house. So by the way, happy belated birthday to Mr. Sinclair. He had his birthday bash this weekend. Lisa and I zipped down there. And Tony, by the way, on the plane, they asked me when I asked for bourbon, would you just like the 2 so we can get it out of the way early?
Oh my gosh.
So they know the different level of alcohol.
They saw you coming a mile away.
Yeah, they saw me coming when I walked on the plane.
This guy needs a double.
Alex, need to turn on super chats on the channel so that the audience will single-handedly fund a crystal wash video. Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
We'll use it to get the plane tickets to fly everyone to Hayward.
PNS, yep.
Actually, that would be, we should just have a contest to see who can make the best crystal wash video on their own.
That's what I think. I think that I totally think that we should do that. I think that we should do a contest, like a really big giveaway. And I think that'd be a great.
Interesting.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. Maybe we'll do a contest and then we'll stitch them all together.
You heard it here first, folks.
At 3.5 margs, Tony is revealing all the basement secrets. I can't wait.
I took a picture last time I never posted, but I'll post it today so you guys can all see the basement item I found in all its glory.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So funny.
I have to go back like 3 months in my phone to find it.
G. Davis, I hope included in the PNS training, Tony is offering a glimpse of his yacht party lifestyle. I'm sure he does. Yeah. Did you bring the shirts?
I did. No, I didn't. I should have brought one just to, frustrate a certain somebody.
Yeah.
But no, I should just have like a mid-training thing where I disappear and then I come out with a different shirt on.
Yeah.
Don't poke the bear.
A margarita, with a little umbrella in it.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Green.
Yeah, I'm all about the green. I've requested that a couple times because I love it. And you know what I want to call it? I'm just going to say it. I think it should be called the Preppy. Like university green and call it Preppy.
Yeah.
It's perfect. All right, Jamie the cleaner. I just need an excuse to buy more FT dubs. I know, right?
Yep.
I could literally live my whole life just with those. Yes. Teal. Yes. All the votes.
Our cabinets here and the ones I have at home as well, 4 stacks of FTWs would fit on one shelf.
Yep.
And so I'm just saying.
Love it. Hey, Michael Hill in the house. Love it. Love it. Love it. Green would be fire. It would be straight up fire. Absolutely. No snow today. Are you kidding? Wait, I don't even know how to convert.
28 Celsius, which is 82.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know how to convert.
He did that for us.
Han says if there were really FTW, we wouldn't see them because Sydney would buy all of them. Yeah, I know. I wish that I could tell you that there was other colors, and I haven't seen any. Bummer. Teal, yes, all the teal.
Well, hopefully, Rag Company's in here listening.
Yeah. Ron, FYI, Sydney and Tony, the Great White North is a reference to Canada from Bob and Doug McKenzie show. Oh, I know that it's called the Great White North, but for some reason I was just thinking, did that mean it was already snowing? I didn't know we still called it that in the summer. Christopher Jacob says, why does Beadmaker look streaky sometimes? Well, this is a great question because we're sticking on this FTW situation, right?
Yeah.
Because Beadmaker doesn't like all towels.
Yep.
It really doesn't. So there's honestly a couple things that could be happening.
Well, also basically a call back to our Defender talk a minute ago.
Mhm.
If you've got too much Beadmaker on the surface already,
Yeah.
that can happen.
Yep. Yeah. And the times when I've noticed streaking issues is when the panel's hot.
Yep.
So even if, if I've been working on a car that the panel's still hot, like say I've washed it and then I've tried to dry it and it's still hot, it'll streak. If you're out in the sun, it's a little bit difficult. But then also very much the towel. It is kind of towel dependent. We found that out, a couple years into Beadmaker, because a lot of times, and that's where Rags to Riches was born, was Beadmaker was starting to clog up towels. And if you're not using a really absorbent towel, it just kind of pushes it around on the surface and then it cures and it will cause streaking. So a couple things, you want to make sure your panel's nice and cool. You want to make sure that you're using a super absorbent towel. That's why I like the FTWs.
Probably short nap and not a split nap. Like a loop. The loops. I mean, the FTW, just use an FTW.
Yep. Yeah. Just use an FTW. And then if you need, have a second one ready to go, because the biggest thing is you want to make sure none of it evaporates off on its own. So not like paint prep or anything, even like Dreammaker, you can leave a little streak and it kind of just evaporates on its own. Beadmaker doesn't. It will leave the streak. So you got to make sure you just work it all the way in, and just FTWs.
Yep. Morning, Bonnie.
Good morning, Bonnie. All right, Hans, Christopher, use an FTW to buff off the Beadmaker. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good morning, Sydney and Keith. Don't know the other guy, but good morning to him too. Who was that?
Who knows?
That's funny.
It's a me.
That is so funny. Oh shoot, I can't find it. Tony is the opposite of a Samsung. No overprocessing or fakeness.
True. No overprocessing here.
Too funny. Steve says, what is the best way to clean and protect an infotainment screen, gauge cluster, and interior piano black? Well, the infotainment screen, that there's many different types and surfaces, right?
Yep.
So it really depends. If you have one of the new ones that's just glass, hallelujah, right?
Yep.
If you have the older ones that are like in the BMWs, be careful.
With the weird matte finish on them. Yeah.
Be really careful. Some of what are the ones that have been giving me such a hassle lately? It's like the older, and actually they're not even older. It's like an older technology, but like some of the new Jeep Wranglers, they kind of have like a matte but shiny finish, and no matter what you wipe it with, it leaves a dull.
Yeah.
So you have to
like
really
a grippy texture on the material that pulls off of the towel. So
so the grippy textures ones, I'm going to say stick with, literally either Absolute or a glass cleaner. Like mine in my car that's glass, I put Defender on it.
Yep.
So I still kind of clean them normal. With some of them, I'll spray steam on my towel and wipe across them. That seems to work nice.
Yeah.
Gauge clusters are a little bit more tolerant, except to scratchy towels. So be careful on the gauge cluster with that.
Yeah.
I do like to use like our synthetic Detail Factory brush. I like to use that to clean around the gauge cluster and things like that. So it's just dependent on the material.
I'm pretty much never trying to protect either of those things, though, really. Like, I don't want to put anything on the gauge cluster because it shouldn't be being touched.
Yeah.
And it's shaded.
Yeah.
just by virtue of how they are designed.
Yeah.
And then the screen too, it is being touched. So if it's glass, like you said, Defender works fine, but otherwise I'm cleaning it and just sending it away.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe Kimball, is there any new PNS detail products in the works or maybe a new compound being released? Not that I've heard about. The only thing that I know about that we kind of have given away is that we will consistently be releasing maybe some new scents in the scent line. So I do know that some of those are being worked on. I won't give away which scents, but that will be kind of a fun rolling, what's going to be next type deal. I think there might be something new for SEMA, but even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you anyway. So there's that. Chris says, go TCU Frogs. Yes, but I am a huge Colorado fan, so I am happy about that. Joe Kimball, Joey is in the back. This is funny. Joey's in the back seat watching and yelling squirt and keeps asking where Mike is. So this is a funny story, Joe.
That's great.
Last week we bought the Coke products were on sale. So Tristan was with me and he actually was like, let's get squirt for dad. And so we bought the squirt. And so literally like all three of us were like little school children in the kitchen, like waiting for him to see the box so that he would yell squirt. Cause it's like his favorite thing that Joey says. Mike just loves Joey and Joey loves Mike. And so it was so funny. We were just we were all like waiting to see when Mike would see the box and yell out squirt.
Did he find it and do it?
Oh, he totally did it. And then we all laughed. It was so funny.
Good.
He totally fell for it. Han, super chat money for PNS arts and crafts in the basement. Yes, man, Jamie and Alex, we still need to figure out what we're doing for arts and crafts. We better start thinking about it now. That's gonna sneak up on us. And get a first class ticket to the training center. Yes.
There you go.
Good morning, crew. That's Kyle Camus. For some reason, not all of my things are. I'll buy a crystal wash to make a video. It will get my button gear for more videos. Yeah, well, stay tuned, Alex. I think we really are going to do a contest. I actually love that idea of doing like a mashup. I really do. Yeah. Wasn't there a bead maker specific towel at some point? So I think that's Kyle again. Yes. So early on, because the rag company had, and I think it was an eagle, maybe.
Yeah, it's the Orange Eagles.
The Orange Eagle 350. So we thought, oh, the color goes great. It seemed to work great.
Mm-hmm.
The problem came a month or two down the road after we were like, yeah, this is the perfect towel. And that's because it started to get clogged.
Yeah.
And so then the third, fourth, fifth time you tried to use that same towel, it would just reject the bead maker and you'd be smearing it around. And then it just like this whole chain reaction set off. So it was initially put out as the bead maker towel. And the first time you use that towel, it works great. But a couple things were happening. One, it was getting clogged. Two, it was a long pile. And even though it was so nice and soft and it went on all nice, it was actually creating that static charge. Yep. And right about that time was when everybody started complaining about the dust. So because bead maker has a positive charge, it took that towel and created a whole
Yep, it was a mess.
So yeah. So they work when they're new, but it gets a little rougher as you keep using them. So yes, the Orange FTW is the new one now. Yes.
Yep.
TRCMA 2024 Arts and Crafts dyeing FTWs in random colors. That's a great idea. I just thought, you know what? I have 2 purple dyes on my kitchen counter. That's a great idea.
There you go.
That would be amazing. I love it.
So what we need to ask for then is a white FTW. So we need to make our own.
Yes, that's a great idea. All right, let's all email TRC for teal and green FTWs and make them have the max towel purchase for certain people. Yes.
There you go.
Love it. Start a petition. I like to use paint prep before applying to bead maker and defender unless I'm using it as a drying age. I do that too a lot. I generally just like to, if I'm applying defender and I really want to make sure that it's going to last like 6 months to a year, yes, I always kind of paint prep the surface.
Definitely paint prep.
Everything's off of it. If I'm just kind of using it like maintenance on my own car and stuff, I don't bother with paint prep, but yes, absolutely.
Yep. I even cheat sometimes and use paint prep almost as a drying aid, just to add a little bit of stripping power to the drying process.
Yep. Brent says it also doesn't play well with waxes and toppers. I wonder if he means bead maker.
Or maybe defender. But I could see either. I could see either depending on the wax.
Yeah, Bead
Gonna be-
Maker has more trouble with some waxes, especially ones that are like high carnauba.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't go great. And then, I've used a couple SiO2 toppers that I can really only think of one, and I won't necessarily name it, but I can really only think of one that I always knew if a car came in and I tried to use Bead Maker and it just would not work, and then I would ask the customer what was on it, it was always the same product.
Yeah.
So, there's just some certain ones that it may not work with, especially dry. I mean, I feel like you can always use Bead Maker as a drying aid.
Yep.
Plastic instruments, I use Plexus. I'm not sure what Plexus is, but
I think that's a cleaner.
okay.
And I think it's like an aircraft glass.
Okay. Maybe
cleaner.
like a specific plastic cleaner that kind of.
Yeah, and I think it's just very gentle. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Cool.
It's an aerosol, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It is a plastic cleaner and protectant, and it is an aerosol product.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Sorry, guys.
Nice. No, thanks.
Confirmation.
Alex, will there be a margarita scent in the line? Coconut lime's a little bit like a margarita, right?
Yeah, we need
a pineapple scent. We did have pina colada at some point, so maybe that's a pina colada though, not a margarita. See, I don't know anything about my alcoholic drink.
I'll ask Dave today what he thinks about a margarita scent.
Yep. If you need info, bribe her with the real Dutch stroopwafels, and that will up your chances. Brent, I would love to see Express with added UV protector in it. Well, I would go to Swift then. So you probably won't ever see Express with a UV protector in it because we have Swift. So Express is, that is a true cleaner, and you need a true dedicated cleaner without UV protection in it. So Express is so good. I can probably safely say Express will never be changed, but that's why we brought in Swift, and that is like one of those things where you want dedicated jobs. And so Express is for cleaning, and then Swift is for the maintaining, which would be the quick detailer with a protection in it. So Express is your cleaner, like natural finish, use for example, as your protectant. But when you want to kind of hit in the middle, which meaning you're not going to have the full cleaning benefits of the Express, you're not going to have the full protection benefits of natural finish, comes Swift. So
Yep.
that's why we came out with Swift and put it in that space. So Express, right, Keith, will never have UV protectors.
No, it won't, just because we're not going to. When you get to perfection like that, you don't change the formula.
Right.
But we should break some news. Let's break some product news. People have been asking.
Okay.
So what's the product news on Swift, Sydney?
Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's now it's available in 5s.
Yeah, so Swift officially hasn't got pricing out yet, but we are putting it in 5. So hey, do you want a new product announcement? There you go. There's your new product announcement.
It's coming in 5s, which that will go in my 5s. So
I'll have to get
about how I limit myself to what comes in 5s. Swift will definitely be one because I love Swift.
So that'll probably be before SEMA, but I would give us to the end of the month to have pricing out and an official announcement. But yes, Swift is going in 5. So there's your product news. We have broken all the rules and busted out of the basement.
I even I used Swift this week since we're talking about it. I had a lot of maintenance cars come in this last week, and one of them was only 2 weeks after I did the full detail, so it was still super clean. But the mats had obviously gotten dirty. They drove their car out to their horse ranch or whatever. But the mats were rubber, like WeatherTech style mats. But I wiped them with a pretty wet Absolute rag, and then I literally just did the softest mist of Swift and walked away and let them dry. And it almost leveled 100%, and it brought back a little bit of the dark, moisturized color. And I was like, that's kind of a nice little trick.
Yeah, I love it on the mats too, and I do the same where I just leave it out in the sun. It's so great. Love it.
I just did it right in the car too. These were just like a quick wipe down, so I just
Yep.
sprayed it and went around the car.
Yeah. So Super Auto, this is a great question. A flight of each scent as a package would be nice. It would be nice. And this does come up a lot. People ask, how come you don't do sample sizes? And the answer is I know it sounds really easy, but you have to have a whole special fill line machine to fill mini bottles, which PNS does not have one. And like a fill line costs about as much as a house. So it would be a crazy investment on PNS's part to make little bottles. And so that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
That would be a fun idea, but it's a lot more difficult than it sounds.
Yeah. I'm looking at a fill line right now, and I'm just trying to think of just even having one, like having the space to dedicate, even if we could like
Right.
change this one to be a mini bottle one,
Right.
and that whole fill line would be down and inoperable until it got changed back. It'd be a whole thing.
Well, and the difficult part too is that so much of the cost in products is the packaging.
Yeah.
And so the mini bottles cost is the same as the big bottles. And so, the price that you'd have to charge just doesn't really compute. Like people think, well, if it's, 1/8 the size, it should be 1/8 the price, but it wouldn't be. It would be more than half.
Right.
So just the whole package just financially doesn't.
New bottles, new caps, new boxes, new whatever, case quantities. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Yep. Mike's Auto Detailing. I'll get my turtle friend to make a crystal wash video. Yes. Please ask Terry to make that crystal wash video. We are going to do, I'm totally good. We're going to do a contest. Han says, I use the orange 500 GSM Eagle for spreading bead maker and buff it off with the orange FTW. Perfect.
That works.
Yes, Terry. I don't remember who said this. I'm using glass coating in a craft beer brewery. Gosh, I can't read today. I noticed it flashes super fast and I ended up with high spots I didn't see. Will Envy level the high spots or remove the coating?
I would say it
Sure.
would probably be hard to tell. Well, you might even get a little bit of a color change.
Hello.
If it totally removed the coating, if you use, but I mean, I would say the answer is yes. It'll probably remove your high spots.
Yeah.
It might damage the coating a little more than you'd want, but just slap a little more on there and buff it off right away. And I actually installed View on my personal windshield on my new car yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I left a high spot on one of the side windows because I just didn't get to it fast enough. I tried to cheat and do 6 windows at once, and I wasn't fast enough. So, I mean, I saw it immediately and just re-wet it with more View and buffed it off, and it was fine. But yeah, I would say use a little Envy or really whatever polish you have laying around, and then just throw a little more on there on that spot.
Yeah, that's what I would do. And I've done that a lot, especially on side windows when I've coated them, I've left, or like down in the corner, I'll leave like a little smudge. And I usually just take a little Envy on a towel and kind of rub it back out. But if you're having to polish in like kind of main areas, you'd probably want to do another pass with it for sure.
Just to make sure you get full strength.
Yeah. Good morning from Calgary, Alberta. A Flight is much smaller bottle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did know that. I don't drink beer, but I knew that. I did know that. Will bead maker clog up my drying towel? Yes. Over time, it's definitely much slower process than when using it, full strength dry. So I strip because I use bead maker, you guys know I either do coatings or I do wash clay seals. So I use a lot of bead maker. So a lot of bead maker hits my drying towels, but I probably only strip them once every 3 months. So it's not like it's something that happens super fast in the drying towels. I'm able to make it quite some time between stripping them. So yeah. And then there's a quick tip there, which I always forget to do, but this came from Robin Sweet, is when you put a lot of bead maker on your drying towels, if you spray them down with Rags to Riches first, so you dilute a special bottle of Rags to Riches, and when you're done drying the car, if you spray your towels with Rags to Riches before you throw them in your derby bin, that actually helps it not clog up. I always forget to do that, but I have tested that and it totally works. So great idea.
Yep.
And this was from Rod. So Rod Pusey. So when polishing glass with PNS, do you always coat after or just polish? It depends on if I'm doing a coating. So during my normal details, when I'm doing polishing glass, I just polish the glass and clean them with glass cleaner. A lot of times though, just because I like it, I put Defender on them because I really love finishing off glass with Defender.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I will, especially after I've polished them, I'll hit them with Defender, but you don't have to. But opposite of that, if I'm coating with View, I always polish with Clarity Cream. Always.
Yep. I don't really think of, I don't like to polish paint and not coat it, because you're removing material and you want that your finished product to be protected. Glass, though, you're not really removing glass, so you're just cleaning it. So don't worry about it so much. Throw some coating on it if you have it and you want to, and otherwise just Defender it.
Yeah. So that would need to be the 5 margarita scent.
5 margarita scent.
You pitch that to Bob while you're there. Oh, that would be a good one. Duplessis Bourbon Special Edition scent.
Ooh.
That's not a bad idea. I actually really love the smell of bourbon. Who was it that during COVID, there was like a distillery or something that made bourbon scented hand sanitizer, and it smelled so good.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It was someone Chris West knew. It smelled so good.
That's funny.
Han says, Ron, you beast. All right. Brent Spence says, there's blue hydro type wax that I use and then top with Bead Maker, and it would streak on dark colors, especially maroon. I switched that out and reduced Bead Maker streaking. Yes. So, and that's the other thing too, is,
what if you're going to use a wax? I usually, if I've ever waxed anything recently, it's always been the last step.
Yeah, that's
right?
exactly
you
what
have a sealant. You can sometimes get away with putting a wax on a sealant because
Yeah.
usually your sealants are longer lasting.
Right.
But if you switch that up, you're almost asking for trouble because the wax isn't like hard. It doesn't cure in a way that will accept something on top.
The only wax, 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, the only wax, and this was big with the Obsessed Garage fans as well, the only wax that I ever really saw that Bead Maker immediately went over and worked phenomenal was Colonite 365.
Oh yeah.
Those two worked together flawlessly, but that's a totally different type of wax. And so, yeah, definitely you always want your strongest protection as the first layer.
Yep.
So, yeah. Yep. Heading over to PNS University to take the coding class. Excited. Awesome. Look at you. Already got a fan in the house, Tony.
Yeah. I'm trying to mute my mic occasionally. There's also a lot of noise because the factory is alive and well now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're starting to fill line and got a forklift and everything.
Yeah. So Anthony Brown Jr. says, will paint prep ever come in 5s? I have a feeling that answer's no, and I have a feeling it probably has to do with because of what paint prep is. Keith might have to pop in here. I feel like do you like what I'm like queuing you up?
Yes. The reality is that product probably isn't. I don't know that it's hazardous beyond a level, but in a 5, probably not going to come in a 5.
Yep.
All right, we are at 7:28, so we're in the speed round, guys. So here we go. Morning, James Akers. Good to see you, brother.
Hans, just buy a big scent bottle with a few people, share the bottle, take a certain amount. Yep.
So I had an idea on the scents. Maybe when we get all the new scents, we can do a 12-pack case of one of all the new pints of scents.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the closest we ever came, and Dave will murder me for the idea already. So
because they love kits. Yep.
Yeah, they love individual pint picks. Those are great.
Yeah. So this would be Mike again. Thanks. That's my first view job for commercial building. Yeah. So I know a lot of guys use it for commercial. I would say maybe, work smaller areas and just kind of double check for high spots, because like we said, like if you're within that first hour, you should be able to just put more view over it, and it should, self remove that high spot. But you'll get there. I'm sure it's just because it's, it's new and that glass reacts different. It might be holding in heat a little bit different than like automotive glass would be my guess.
Yeah, I would just say just shorten your time too on wipe off, and even use 2 towels if you want to cheat and have a little extra power to strip off the extra.
Yeah. All exterior rags go in a bucket of water with rag stitches to soak before washes. That's a great idea. Mike, got to get to work. Have a great week, everyone. Hans, how long would Defender last on windscreen glass? That's really going to be depend, because
at least.
Yeah, like anything, it's all about abrasion. So it's going to depend on, do you take it to the car wash? Do you hand wash it? A lot of that's going to depend. I feel like on my personal glass, which my car's hand washed, I feel like I'm getting a good 3-4 months out of it, maybe, but I like to apply Defender. So I wouldn't say that I'm letting it fully wear off. I just like the feeling of brand new Defender on my glass. So I apply it every couple months.
Yeah, if you use your wiper blades a lot, it's going to last less time because of the abrasion. So
Right. And I will say too, it's going to last longer on a windscreen with view on it than it is on one without.
Yeah.
So if the glass is coated, because I use it on my front windshield and my front windshield's coated, I haven't been coated now for 2 years, but it's still there. And I use Defender and it's great. John, good morning. Will rags to riches help remove Defender from towels? Have you noticed Defender not lasting long on plastics? Applied it to a front bumper and it doesn't last as long on metal parts. Right, because it doesn't actually cross-link with the metal. It kind of just sits on top. So it absolutely is going to be shorter. So any coatings, Defender, any SiO2 sprays are going to last a shorter amount of time on any plastics, metals, aluminum surfaces, because they're not specifically designed to go on those surfaces. They still work, but they're definitely not going to have the longevity as when they are cross-linking with paint.
Yeah, I feel like it's paint lasts the longest, glass, probably plastic, metal.
Yeah. Yep. Super Auto. Been washing, folding, and storing all my towels with R2R lately. Wow. It's amazing. Do you guys wash pads separately from towels? Yes.
Yes.
So my rule is I do one load of pads, and I generally separate my wool and my foam pads because I don't like the little wool pieces to get on my foam. And then I do kind of what I call my clean towels, which are going to be glass, and my drying towels and my FTWs. And then I do another dirty load, which is all my interior, wheels, compounds, all of that. So I do 4 loads every week. Well, really 3, because I hardly use wool, right? Last week I did 4.
Yeah.
Christopher Jacob says, how does View bond to the glass differently versus Legend? Well, I have tried to use Legend on the glass, and it's not great to deal with. So I don't recommend that. So it's a different chemistry, right? So View is made specifically to go on glass. Legend is specifically meant to go on paint. I've heard people use Legend on glass. I've tried it a few times, did not have success with it. I just like View for what it is and what its job is. And I would rather know that was specifically meant to go on glass and Legend was specifically meant to go on paint. I think you're going to run into a lot of high spots on glass if you try to use Legend.
Yeah, I would say.
Yep. Andrew Jackson says, when I'm doing carpets with carpet bomber for lightly soiled carpet, should I use finisher after? Always. Always. Yep. Deactivates the surfactants.
It really has nothing to do with how dirty whatever you cleaned was. It has everything to do with killing the soap that you put in.
Yes.
The soap will reach up and clean the bottom of your shoes.
Yep.
And make those carpets dirty.
Yep. Kirby, my guy. Morning to all joining late today.
Morning, Kirby.
Alex, have a fantastic week, everyone. You too, Alex. We'll be waiting to see your video. Thanks to whoever offered Alex to do it.
So that is the end of our comments. So awesome. Tony, you're at Hayward through Wednesday, right?
Through Wednesday, correct. I'm here today, coding class, Wednesday, coding class, and Tuesday, all-in class. And we're fully booked, ready to rock and roll.
Very cool. Very cool. So for anybody else out there watching, if you want to know about more of our trainings, you can go to pscretailproducts.com, click the training tab, and you can see all of Tony's trainings. You can sign up right there.
Yep.
And super easy to find those.
When are you doing your next class?
Those are October. And you got me on the spot. I think it's like 9th, 10th, 11th, something like that.
Right.
It is. And I will be there for your class on the 11th because you and I are doing the global SV on the 12th at Hayward. So if you want to get your skills validation certification, Tony and I will be there to do that on the 12th at the mothership.
Cool.
And then I'm going to actually make a road trip out of it. I'm going down to Sacramento or over to Sacramento for the 13th and 14th. So I've owed him a trip for 6 years. I figure out how to pay that debt. Sid, where are you next? What's your next event?
So next week, next Thursday, we are all going to, so Keith, myself, Rennie, and Bob are heading to the Budco iShine event. I believe this is their 5th annual. It might be the 4th. I think I've been to all of them, but one. Great event over there in Salt Lake City. The Budco guys do a great job. So really looking forward to that. I think they've really stepped everything up this year and it's going to be really fun. The Rag Company will be there, Buff and Shine, a couple other companies. So it'll be Diamond Pro Tech will be there. So that's going to be really fun next Thursday. So I'm sure we'll have lots of, media coming out from that event. So that will be next. We leave on Thursday, but the actual event is next Saturday. So not this coming Saturday, but the next one.
Yep.
So yeah, good times.
All right.
Well, have an awesome week training, Tony. And thank you
Thanks.
for being my co-host today. And Keith
got
for
it.
being our amazing, what do you call yourself? Moderator?
Producer, whatever.
Popping
Yeah.
on the screen and saying that.
Chief button clicker. That's all I do.
Confirmation Keith.
Chief button clicker. That's awesome. Very good. Well, thank you so much, guys. You guys have an awesome week. I'm sure we'll chat later. I am going to go get ready for my guys from the TRC to show up.
Yep. And I'm going to go pack because I have a little trip this week. I got to be in North Carolina for the weekend, but I also have a waypoint on the way for a Go Fast event. Right. Got all that this week, and then I join you guys in Salt Lake, which will be a lot of fun.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
All right. See you, everybody.
Next time. Okay, bye.